My deepest condolences.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Scribes and Scrolls, the Candlekeep Mysteries, and it's the whole gang all back together again after, I think it's been like 5 weeks since we've played our regular game. I said the gang's all back together. Dwight's not here, so we're almost all back together. But Dwight has an excused absence, and will be joining us again.
Somebody had to go watch Georgia whoop on Bama.
Yeah, something sports, something.
It's a very big football game.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, and it's a father-son bonding thing, and also he did say he would be splitting his attention a little bit, so he may be popping into the chat, rooting you all on. So yeah. So anyway, this is, we are done with the interludes. The last 5 weeks, we had one-on-one player interludes. All of them except the last one were pre-recorded because of technical difficulties. Dwight and I did it live last week. But those interludes, those sort of, where were they before the campaign, or looking back in the past at varying lengths of time. You can see those on YouTube.com/Mini Terrain Domain, as well as all of the previous episodes of our campaign. But tonight's is Book 3, The Book of the Raven, Chapter 28, Where Their Shadows Fall. And in just a couple of minutes, I am going to do a little bit more in depth of a recap. And then, for reasons you'll see in the recap, we're going to roll for initiative and start the session off right. First off, couple of quick announcements. We are back with this game here tonight and every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain. Wednesday night, you can catch us. I'm going to say, I don't know why I was making that like it was a possible change. We are on Big Bearded Nerd on Wednesday for Mythos Investigators. And then on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, the Dawnbringers returns with Season 6, The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. And I will be Friday night over on Nerdarchy for Untraditionally Arcane. All of the games except for one are returning this week, so it's a busy week of gaming to be sure. Quick shout out for our channel sponsors. You can see down in the lower left-hand corner that we have Talon and Claw, and we've got Run Right Play. You can type !MTD Claw in the chat, or !RWP to check out their links, see what they got going on over there. And with Talon and Claw, you can check out all their wonderful wooden dice accessories, and he's added a couple of 3D printed things as well. And use code MTDClaw to get 10% off of your purchase and help support the channel. And then that information will pop up periodically throughout the stream as well. During our interludes, we mentioned that domain tomes were not in play, but if you look, not only do I have my gift from the Magi, as it were, these 5 limited edition domain tomes, I have credited the book club here with all 18, I believe it was, of the domain tomes that were earned while we were doing the interludes. So you now have 35 domain tomes at your disposal, Cari. I mean, everybody.
I will have you know, Gary has used overwhelmingly more than I have. I wish we had been keeping a spreadsheet. Gary's been a terrible influence on me, and I blame him.
There's nobody to blame for anything. They're there to be used by you, any of you, or all of you, or one of you, as it may be. So, but the domain tomes are a way that you, the viewers, can have a little bit of an influence on our game. You can tip through Ko-Fi, or you could join through the Ko-Fi memberships. You can tip here with bits on the channel. You can subscribe, gift subs, resubs, all that stuff goes towards domain tomes, which allow them to do things like gain advantage, reroll, or they can spend 5 tomes and make me reroll. However, with my limited edition, I can only have 5 of these. If I choose to, I can use all 5 of these to counterspell and make a reroll stand. There's a couple other things I can do as well. But anyway, you can type in ! limited or ! domain dice, I think it is, to get the information on those in the chat, as Jordan just did. So that information is in the chat. The final, I mentioned all the games that are coming back, and I forgot to mention, while I'm not going to be on stream tomorrow, Legends of Saltmarsh returns right here on twitch.tv/mini terrain domain with Neofet running that. And we've got some of our amazing friends that are playing in that game as well. It's part of a two sides of a coin, if you will, campaign, Legends of Saltmarsh, and then Saltmarsh Legends that plays over on Emporium of the Wayward Gamer on Wednesday nights. Those are alt weeks, I believe, but Cari is a player in the Saltmarsh Legends. So be sure to check that out on Tuesday nights as well. Finally, we just want to remind you, it's a new year, but one thing that hasn't changed is that we still care about you and we still believe in you. You matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference, whether you believe it or not. But we recognize that sometimes people struggle, and you need a little bit of help in whatever way possible. So what we've done is just put a simple chat command in, ! help. Type that in the chat and a URL will pop up, and that is findahelpline.com. Wonderful resource, free resource. Simply type your location and tons of help services will show up. And we just ask you to bookmark that for yourself, bookmark it for a friend in case they need it, and just remember that you matter. It's okay to not be okay. With that, I think it is time for Gary. I need you to do me a favor real quick. Can you go like this and say, Allie?
Allie!
Trust me, I know what I'm doing. And there, just like that, she's been summoned.
Oh!
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that Gary is completely shocked by what is happening.
What is happening?
And I deliberately didn't tell any of you because a secret does not remain a secret when you tell more people. What? Gary, can you please show us what Allie just handed you?
What is this? It's like the briefcase from Pulp Fiction, bro. What is it?
It is a wax-sealed chest, it looks like.
Frozen vibes from this. Is
Legit
that why you were seeing it go earlier?
No, it's completely unrelated.
Go ahead and
What?
Go ahead and pop that open and see what's in there, Gary.
Yeah, okay. There seems to be a bunch of things. Okay, there's cards.
Don't rush through this. This was planned for.
Okay. So the top thing is it is a picture. It is a dice waltz with some lovely art, and I'm told it's on the way.
Aww.
And there's a handwritten note. Let's see. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, hello. This might be overwhelming, and if you want to blame anyone, it would be me. You are the first person in this awesome group of people I met to welcome me in, and now I have the best people to call friends. Jesus, I'm going to cry. I see you doing so much for all the charities and how much you love this space. I just wanted to show you that we all appreciate you and the good work you do in our little corner of geekdom. Keeping you, Joya. That's Crucian for those who may not know. Gary, gathering this present together from your loving friends, contributing to it and delivering it, not to mention having this awesome secret, was the best thing about 2021. Turns out there's more I want to say. She made me flip over the card. You've contributed so much to creating a place for us all to connect and set such a heartfelt example of ways that we can make the world better, even stuck in our homes. So glad I got to know you before. Love, Petra. Filled by your talented friends, MTD Jake, Crucian Gall, Talon Claw, Hawkmere, D20, Neophet, Ali, Petra, 88 Riddles, and MC Etching.
Oh.
This is Flip. My character Flip the Bard. It was done by Petra, commissioned by D20, that rat bastard. I'll fucking give that guy a talking to later.
God.
Oh, this is okay. This says for Ali, so I'm assuming that's probably not for me. So I'm going to put that aside.
Amazing.
Crucian says you should call Ali back in. Though
Ali?
Ali says in chat, now you know why you couldn't look at my phone.
Please return. I figured I figured it was something untoward is happening to me.
Untoward?
This is very toward.
This is the
This
most
is for you.
toward.
What? That was heavy. I didn't know I got presents too.
Oh man.
Oh my
There's
god.
something written on there too.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and it's,
Oh shit. Wait, show them. Yeah, bitches.
well, you have to read it out loud.
Oh my goodness. Pirate Alley, thanks for being one of the most chaotic bitches I have ever had the pleasure to sail the high seas with. Also, I love when your big ass falls off the boat. # content. Thanks, Crucian.
That's
It's been so
awesome.
much fun. What?
Award nominated ass. Let's focus on what's important.
It's been so much fun getting to know you and to be part of the best bitches on the internet with you. You fucking rock, lady Rosalia. And
That's
for our
awesome.
vengeful queen, voice of encouragement and unreason on the high seas. Turns out I'll follow you into inevitable demise over and over again. May you continue to make our voyages ever more bountiful and bootiful. Bitches forever, Petra. Holy fuck, guys.
Wow.
Where's your camera?
That's awesome.
How cool.
And I believe there's some more goodies in there for
There
you.
are. I just don't want to break anything. What? Yeah. Oh, there's dice in there.
There's dice in there, and I got a pirate coin.
There's a Sea of Thieves stand. I assume it's for a dock or something.
It's an Xbox controller stand. That's for me.
Oh,
I
There you
printed
go.
and painted that.
oh, look at this!
Ooh.
Holy shit! This is a mug, and I don't know if you can see it. It says salt on it.
You'll have to post pictures.
Oh,
I will post pictures.
You'll have to post pictures
online.
later.
That was all Hawkmere.
This is what? Sorry.
Hawkmere.
Oh, Hawkmere. Thank you for
Yep.
this.
And that was done by MC Etching.
MC Etching Nix. Thank you. This is
how cool.
anybody who knows me knows that I'm the least salty person around. So I don't know why they decided to get me this, but I will thank you in perpetuity for that. And there seems to be one more thing. You rat bastards.
Guess who that's from? That is a Sea of Thieves boom barrel that specifically says to Gary on it, and I printed and painted that just for you.
Oh, how cool.
Well,
Oh,
thank you all.
Here.
Thank you all so much. I did not
Sneaking back in.
you can leave now. Yeah. I did not
Bye,
expect
Thanks,
Bye,
Allie.
Allie.
they all say bye.
Bye.
I did not expect to weep tears of grateful joy when this stream started. When I first met everybody, and I had the privilege of sort of making the connections that I made over the past year, I had no idea what it would mean. I had no idea what playing Sea of Thieves would mean to me, and the doors and friendships that would open. So, thank you to everybody who has made the last year possible, and all the wonderful things that have happened to me are because of you. So,
well, we love you and appreciate you a whole heaps, Gary, and it was super hard to keep that a secret for this has been in the work for at least a couple months.
Wow.
And I was honored to be a part of it, and it's all right there in the package. And if it wasn't clear, the chest was selected and designed to be a Sea of Thieves barnacle chest by Petra.
Oh, wow.
Petra decorated that all up and put everything together, and Petra conspired to deliver it right under your nose. So
I hate and love all of you at the same time.
Right.
That's
so
awesome.
I had to we even conspired to make it happen at this exact time, so Allie was on standby, and
she was right outside the door. As soon as you said Allie, she's like,
this was all planned. This was all planned. So, and for those wondering, and in case there's somebody that might want to have seen this of course will be a part of the VOD, but I will later, probably tomorrow, I will highlight this as its own separate video clip, and we'll post that link, and we'll share that so others can see it as well.
Amazing.
very cool.
With that,
Could have brought me a Kleenex, you rat bastards.
You've got your jacket, and you're not wearing mascara.
well,
Yeah,
with
that's
that, it is now time to play some Dungeons and Dragons. And we're going to start with a little bit more in-depth and lengthy of a recap. So bear with me for a moment as we let you know what's going on. So the book club, as they have taken to calling themselves, is a group of adventurers that were sort of thrown together when they arrived in Candlekeep. And after quickly being pulled into an investigation, they were hired by one of the staff at the library to basically be official investigators for the library, that supposedly comes with a handsome paycheck and access to the library, though they've spent surprisingly little time in the actual library to date. Most recently, they were investigating a mysterious book of the Raven that was delivered to Teera. That was delivered to Teera by a crow, and they showed it to the library, and were told they could go investigate it. Because most specifically was a mysterious map. That turned out to take them through all kinds of peculiar terrain, facing harpies and just barely dodging a manticore, befriending a troll that then tried to murder them, temporarily becoming imprisoned by a minor red dragon, wormling, and its kobold attendants. Turns out the kobolds didn't like being held captive either by this dragon, and they teamed up and eliminated it. Prior to that, they had met 3 dragonborn sisters called the Three Dragon Aunties, who said, "Hey, you're heading this way anyway. We're missing a jade tortoise statue. Can you please go find it? By the way, it's in the Shadowfell, probably." So after going through all of these things, they eventually found themselves at an old abandoned chalet. The chalet is called the Chalet Brantifax. Upon arriving there, you all encountered a group of people led by a woman named Madrina, accompanied by Tasper and Rennick, that they were kind of holding up in this place, and they did a really poor job of explaining to you exactly what they were doing. But you got the gist when they said, hey, by the way, when you're out and about doing stuff, if you find anything that's really evil, bring it to us and we'll take care of it. That's kind of what we do. And by the way, we are all were-ravens. As they showed that they could transform into ravens. They also learned that the shadow crossing to the Shadowfell, where this jade tortoise statue figurine was hidden, stashed away, was in the cemetery and accessed through the graves of the Brantifax family, including the grave markers or the actual graves of their young children who died. They were given some gifts in the form of a chest that contained in it a shiny new set of leather armor for Vorn, whose armor had been singed away by Vorn Verotheter, the dragon wormling. They also received a book that was the diary of the Lady Brantifax, and a couple other little things. They headed outside and started to dig up the graves to go through the shadow crossing. But Doc
Ricky has a question.
Oh, yes, Ricky.
Yes, sir. So, does my armor class increase at all?
No. No, it was a net zero. Well, it increased from the 10 that it was when you weren't wearing any armor.
There you go.
Okay.
No, if you add leather armor in, or you still have it on your sheet, that's what I think it's 11 plus your dex mod, I believe, is your AC. While digging up the graves, which Teera was doing, they dug up the youngest daughter's grave and the Lord Brantifax's grave. Doc suddenly became uneasy with the whole thing and said, I can't be a part of this. Doc walked back to the house, went through the house, went and got the carriage or their wagon with their horse and drove it around out of sight to the front of the manor, completely separating himself from everybody. Teera was going to also back down a bit, but then Vorn and Mizya said, hey, we'll do it. And Teera was like, well, if Vorn's doing it, I'm doing it. Unfortunately, as Assyria and Soren lay down in the one grave and Teera lay down in the other, and the shadowy wisps began to encircle them along with the whispers of the grave, there was a flutter of wings as a raven showed up and instantly transformed into one of the Scarlet Sash, one of their organization named Vinique, the one who had hidden the statue away, and she said, they're coming. They've tracked them here. And suddenly her chest burst forth with an arrowhead as she was shot through the back.
Oh.
And the last thing that Teera and Assyria see, and that everybody else sees, is a human man, a little over 6 feet tall, with dirty blonde dreadlock hair pulled back in a top knot, a scraggly blonde beard. And he looks at them all and says, well, I was hoping to deal with her, but you lot look like you'll be fun. And he throws his head back and his facial features and his hands transform into those of a bear.
Ugh.
6 human figures, 4 men and 2 women, emerge from the wood line behind him, and that is where I'm going to have all of you roll initiative.
Oh my god. Okay.
So I'm not giving you any time to react or anything. You're going to react in initiative order.
You are
under
definitely
pressure.
kidding me.
Yep.
So, Vorn, what do you got for initiative?
I have a 12.
Okay. And Teera.
A nat 1 for a total of 3.
That'll
There
be
we go.
fun.
There we go.
Assyria.
15.
think it's the hat. It's giving me
Okay.
energy.
And
Yeah,
I'm not
it is.
gonna
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you because we're entering into a 3-way split and all this stuff. I'm just gonna tell you when your turn is up. I'm not telling you who's going first or anything like that. But or rather, I'm not going to tell you the whole order. But I will tell you, Mizya is going first.
Thanks for all the subs and bits, y'all. I think we're gonna need them.
Yeah.
Oh yes, thank you all so much. I will get those numbers sorted out here in a moment. It looks like there's a couple extra
Yeah.
tomes owed to you.
Thank you.
And I think that Mizya is seeing just how everything happened so suddenly. They sort of turn and just looking at the graves where Teera and Assyria are quickly vanishing, and then they look over at this new figure, and they are going to cast Fairy Fire onto this human bear man. Who
Man, bear, pig.
fails his saving throw terribly, so he is suddenly just shrouded or outlined in this purple fairy fire, giving you all advantage on attacks against him.
Nice.
Those
that's
of you that
huge.
can see him. Immediately, Madrina, Rennick, and Tasper. Well, Rennick you don't see. Rennick was up at the front of the house with Doc. But Tasper and Madrina, they look around at all of you. They look at those of you disappearing into the graves. And Vorn, they look at you and Mizya. We are not fighters. And instantly, they transform into ravens and they disappear into the darkness.
Damn.
And so they are gone. So what happens next is we sort of switch scenes as they that's the last thing you see, Assyria, as you see this familiar looking man who you know to be Cain Malgrim turning into a bear. And last you saw him, you had driven a sword through his heart.
Yeah.
Suddenly, in your ears, you hear Soren whimpering, and you hear that as your vision gets clouded completely by blackness. And for a moment, you feel as though you are suffocating. But just as quickly, a breath of air, and you find yourself lying in an empty grave. But looking up, you don't see the others around you. What do you do?
Take a moment to soothe Soren, and
Oh,
then
you puppy.
you little baby, it's okay. Kind of take him in that moment of listening to Soren, also trying to listen around me, aware that I'm in an area that I've not been, and there are things that I do not know about that are probably lurking about. So she would take a second to kind of listen, and then after a moment, we'll get up.
Go ahead and I'll let you choose. You can use your perception, or since you're deliberately listening, you can use investigation.
Okay. 22.
As you sort of look up and you're looking around, you see that you are in what appears to be some kind of large necropolis. There are open graves all around you. There is no sign of the scene you left behind you, but where you would look and expect to see the Chalet Brantifax, instead you see a stone mausoleum. and it's probably about less than 100 feet away from you, this mausoleum. There's a couple of gargoyle statues sort of perched up on the roof edge, immovable stone structures. But you also hear a shuffling and skittering sounds, and glancing off to one side, you see what at first looks like a rat off in the distance, but then you realize it's a dismembered hand skittering across the ground.
Nope.
And then you see, not far away from you, as 3 skeletons and a rotting corpse begin climbing out of the graves and moving towards you.
Boy.
It is your turn. You've not taken an action.
Yep. All right. Is there a place that I could perhaps get a little cover?
The grave you're laying in.
Like if I'm meaning like, is there another tombstone?
Yes, there are tombstones
Okay.
all over the place.
Okay.
I should also point out something you would have noticed right away is it's a gloomy gray, and even glancing at Soren, you notice that Soren's heterochromic eyes are dull, and the brightness of those colors is gone. Everything seems to be in very muted colors, and the landscape around you is in grays and blacks.
Okay. She will then quietly try to move her and Soren over to a kind of large kind of tombstone or something.
Yeah,
where
you
she
can
get
do
a
that.
little bit
You
of
can
cover.
do that within your movement.
Yep.
As you hear the bones rattling, and you see these three skeletons sort of shambling in or clambering up out of the graves, and then the one rotting corpse just jaw sort of hanging slackly, and they're definitely moving towards you.
Okay. I'm going to hold my action. What I'm going to go ahead and do is behind the tombstone, kind of have my bow and arrow pulled, aware, because I did see Teera get into the grave next to me.
She's actually not in the grave next to you.
Well, what? Well, she was in the grave next to me.
No, she was 3 graves away from you.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
There were 4
Understood
graves,
now.
and you basically, the 2 of you went into the graves on
We were
the
the
end.
end ones.
Got
I
it.
didn't
Okay.
know that
So,
either. That's fair.
so even
Fair.
when you
No,
went
that's fair.
in, Teera was a good 15 feet away from you.
Okay. Aware that she is hopefully coming, I'm going to kind of hold my action for either those things going at Teera or moving closer in my direction, if I can. If I have to choose one, hold my action if they're going for Teera first.
They seem to be coming right for you.
Got it. I'm going to hold my action.
Okay. All right. One of the skeletons, you just almost, since there's no muscle and very little sinew, it's hard to tell what's holding it together. You see it sort of bend its arm impossibly backwards, and it detaches a short bow, and it takes a shot at you. It's appropriate. I'm rolling in my skull dice tower. This shot, though, shooting, sparks fly as it hits the tombstone. There's no way a 9's going to hit you.
No.
Of that group, that is all of them. Does that trigger you to take an attack, or are you still waiting to see if they're going for Teera?
I'll at that point, yeah, it'll trigger the attack.
Okay.
Bonus action, I would like to Hunter's Mark the one that just shot me,
Sure.
or try to.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's going to be a 25.
Yeah, that's a
to
hit. That's a hit.
Okay. That's going to be rolled low. 7 points of damage, as
Okay.
basically she's aiming for the skull's eyes, one of them, to try and break apart the head of the skull that's walking its way to
So
her.
yeah, I'll say that you fire and this arrow just goes and right into the eye socket, and it just lodges partially sticking out the back part of the skull. And you just see now that it kind of moves its head like this, but it's just got an arrow sticking out of its eye socket.
Oh my god. I hate it.
So
hate
that
it.
is that.
That's it for me.
From either side of Kane, two dirty looking men. We're back. Sorry, we transitioned back to the cemetery at the manor in the material world.
Cinematic.
And as we do so, the two of these dirty individuals that are with Kane come charging out, and they are coming towards Vorn and Mizya. The first one, they're wielding scimitars. The first one comes out, and that's going to be a 9 as he swings his scimitar at you, Vorn, and you barely have to move as he swings his scimitar at you and just misses you, Vorn.
Mm-hmm.
But you see the one coming up behind him. He's wielding a light crossbow as he suddenly and takes aim at Mizya. Good lord, stop rolling that die. And the arrow just goes flying past Mizya.
No, by all means, keep rolling that die, Jake.
Right.
That's fine.
As he misses, from a little further out, actually, two of the additional bandits, these two women, seem to have been flanking the cemetery, and they are also going to fire their crossbows. That is a 15 to hit you, Vorn.
Yeah.
And that is a natural 1 against Mizya.
Yeah.
So the second woman, as the first one hits you, Vorn, for Vorn, you're going to take 4 points of piercing damage as this arrow strikes you. The second one, she goes to shoot, and you just see, you hear the clicking, and she's just, she's like, ah, and just throws it down as it's not
Me
working.
when I'm having any kind of tech problem.
Right.
Ah! Throws it.
So that's going to take us to Vorn. You're up. You just got shot, and you got one guy standing in front of you.
Yeah, so the arrow, I imagine, is sticking out of my my right shoulder, and it's kind of like, and I do one of the things just to pure intimidate him by snapping off the feather side of the arrow, and I go, very well then, and I pull out my flail and I just kind of start whipping it around.
Is that the book one?
Yeah, it's the book one.
Nice.
That's the book one.
That's badass. The one that almost killed me. That one.
Yeah, that one exactly.
Great. Perfect.
Exactly. So
Continue.
let's see. Crossbow guy shoots. He's the one with the crossbow, right? He's reloading a bolt.
The one that,
Because one guy tried to hit me, missed, and then the crossbow guy was behind him, and he fired the crossbow.
right, the one in front of you tried to hit you with a scimitar. So he's wielding a sword.
Okay. Yeah. So I've learned from lots of video games to deal with range fighters first before you deal with the the strikers. So we're going to I do this strange case step around him, the guy with the scimitar. So that means I step to his outside with my left foot, and then I use my other foot and I step behind him. So my back is facing his back, and I'm in front of the guy with the crossbow with my flail.
The guy with
Ricky
the
knows martial arts for real.
He also knows how to move around somebody without leaving their range to provoke an opportunity attack.
Right?
That's
so
fine.
smart.
So yeah, go ahead.
I mean, see, the problem was that you gave me 45 hit points. My personality.
You went
Listen,
you
Fate
went
gave you
you
45
went
hit
6
points.
months with 14 hit points. We thought it
I
was
know.
time you had the appropriate hit points.
Yeah, I play way more cautiously too. All right, so let's throw this flail out with the guy with the crossbow.
Okay.
And the attempt is to wrap up the hands and pull the crossbow out of hands and hit him if I can.
Sure.
13, does that hit?
13 hits.
8 points of damage with the flail.
And I'll say that, yeah, you succeed in smacking, not just smacking, just slamming into his hands. And you break the hand that was holding the crossbow, sending the crossbow in pieces to the ground as he was reloading it.
Spectacular.
And you hear the scream of pain. Grah!
Yeah. And then I'm going to shout out as my last thing to the guy that's facing my back. I'm like, come now. I dare you to attack my back.
Oh, well.
All right. Anything else? That it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to hog the light here.
All right. Next up, Gary.
A fell wind blows across the cemetery as a dull red mist begins to emerge from the ground.
Motherfucker.
Rising from everywhere and nowhere all at once. The mist begins to swirl, dancing threateningly in the air. It begins to take shape, coalescing into a pair of needle-like fangs. This menacing illusion lurches forward, driving deep into the chest of the werebear, bathing it in a brutal red light. From a second floor window,
What is going on?
4 crossbow bolts fly true into the large werebear.
What the fuck? Jake, did you know about this?
Oh
Of course
my!
I knew about this.
19 to hit.
19 is a hit.
Bro. Oh my god.
That's 12 points of damage.
Ooh.
Okay.
26 to hit.
Yeah, it's a hit.
Hello, Mr. Hyde. What the heck?
Let's talk about a season opener. My
Yeah.
goodness.
Right.
Can I have
wow.
can I have a strength saving throw, please? Is he wielding a weapon?
Just his bare hands.
What the?
His
frick?
bare hands? Stop
Wow.
it.
Get out of
Stop
here.
it.
I will
fun.
not. What was the damage? What was the damage on that second one?
So there was a disarming attack on that one, even though he's not so trying to pierce his hands with a
Okay, oops,
crossbow
hold on.
bolt.
Let's see. So strength saving throw, you said?
Yeah, DC 50.
That's going to be 25.
Okay, you make it. 28 points of damage.
28
Ooh,
points of
28.
damage.
Yep.
I'm sitting over here with my anxiety toy, and there's freaking conspiracies afoot.
AC
This is why I
25.
have my anxiety toy.
So, is there like a Harley Davidson in the background somewhere, Gary? That I'm
What was
missing?
what was that?
Sorry.
What was that third one, Gary?
AC 25
Yeah, that's a hit.
for 15 points of damage.
Okay.
And lastly, AC 28.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Once again, we're going to try and pierce the other hand. DC 15 strength saving throw.
That is a 24.
Okay, that is a success, and that is 10, 30 points of damage.
30 points of damage, you monster.
From
They
the-
say that a hero
From the upper level of the back of the house, all you hear is as iron and silver arrows fly down into the large bear creature. That is the end of my turn.
As this bear creature is struck multiple times with these arrows, Vorn, you and Mizya just see, almost as if appearing out of nowhere, these arrows striking And even before the fourth arrow hits, you see his bear form is already looks like it's faltering. And he, with the last arrow, he just looks down and he looks around like, where? That's not. And he is going to use his movement to stagger forward. And he is going to move past behind the bandit that you struck with your flail, Vorn. And you can see as he's moving past, the hair sort of receding from the arms. I need to get you a... And he just sort of falls into the open grave that Assyria fell into. And you already can see as the wisps of shadow begin rising up around him. And so that's all he's going to do on his turn.
Holy shit, Gary. God damn it.
Mr. Hyde is here. I said it in chat.
As Kane falls into the grave, we do this sort of cinematic. As he falls in, the camera just sort of goes phoom, and we see on the other side as shadow begins to swirl around. But one of the other skeletons is going to take its shot at you, Assyria.
Yep.
Another arrow off of the tombstone in front of you, as that's like a single digit. There's no way that's going to hit you.
Wow.
Teera, finally.
Okay. Wow.
The myths are coalescing, and same thing, you feel as though you are drowning for a moment.
Oh.
And then phew, the shadows break away and you find yourself in this black and white and gray landscape, and you're looking up through an open grave, but you can tell this is not the landscape you left behind.
Tira's first instinct is to like freaking spring out of this. I don't like any part of this. I have been bullied into this adventure.
You pop out and give me a quick what's your passive perception?
Passive perception is 13.
So you get up, you see these skeletons and this zombie that are shuffling towards a tombstone a little ways away from you. I would say probably because of the angle she positioned herself at, you would notice Soren and Assyria crouched behind this tombstone. And you kind of pop up just as this arrow goes off of the tombstone.
Okay, so I see where they're shooting.
Yep.
Got it.
And you see that they're closing in. They're only about 15 feet away, these three skeletons and the zombie.
I want to fly over there and start hitting them.
Which one are you going for?
I guess whichever one looks the weakest.
Worse
is
for
there
wear.
a look to any of them, or yeah.
You got three
Or
skeletons
no.
and a zombie.
Okay, I'll go for the zombie.
Okay.
I prefer to hit things made of meat. Alrighty, here I go. That's a 17 to hit the zombie.
Yeah, that's absolutely a hit. And Assyria,
Awesome.
you see as Teera leaps up out of this grave, like somebody waking up and instantly on the move. But you see sort of the dust and shadow almost like clinging to her and trailing behind her, like it's stretching out and then kind of snapping loose as Teera swing in with your greatsword, and
That will be 13 points of damage.
you slice into this zombie, embedding your blade deep into its flesh, and you are met not with blood spilling out, but just this thick black ichor as you strike into this long dead creature. Anything else?
I get to frenzy as a bonus action, correct? And then it affects my next attack.
Do you have to be raging to frenzy?
I don't know. It doesn't
do.
say.
I think you
But I
do
do?
have
Okay.
to.
Then I think we'll be fine for a little while. I'm doing my deep breathing exercises and playing with my anxiety toy.
All right. So let's see. You were at 3. So the zombie gets to go. The one you just
Good luck.
sliced at. And it's basically just going to try to just slam itself into you. That is a natural 20.
Oh, great.
No, reroll that, Mo. You gotta reroll that.
Gonna
Yeah,
spend
we have
those
35.
5 of those domain
Reroll.
tones.
Yeah,
It's
man.
okay.
Reroll.
I am so tempted, but I'm not gonna do
Thanks,
it on a
Ricky.
zombie to counterspell that.
Yeah,
We
nat
have
20s. You
5
gotta reroll nat
tomes.
20s.
Reroll that.
All right, so there you
Thank
go.
you, Ricky.
Sorry,
go.
I kind of overstepped. I mean, I wasn't sure.
No,
No, you're
I was
fine.
gonna say it if you didn't. So
take the
good.
initiative.
That
thank you.
turns that natural 20 into a 9.
That's
There we
That
go.
does not
better.
hit.
As it's trying to get to you, but you're holding the sword still sort of partially embedded in it, and it can't get to you. There's this moment where it's trying to get to you, and you're just sort of leading it around, keeping it at this sword's length away from you, Teera.
Yep. And
Um,
as I'm doing that, I'm like, Serio, where you at?
Which is also, what's your AC?
15.
Which is also why, while you were leading this zombie around, why you get hit with the short sword attack from, which is a 16 from the skeleton that was coming up at you.
Damn it.
So it is going to do 6 points of piercing damage as you suddenly, you kind of lead this zombie around and then just right into the side.
Ouch.
Just to give you an idea, because I pre-rolled stuff, I don't know how much, I'll show you guys this later, but this is the roster. So I'm like scanning through everything because of split stuff here.
Amazing.
As you get pierced, Teera, there's this sort of, and we sort of pivot around and we see back in the cemetery as 2 more of the 6 bandits are coming towards one towards Vorn and one towards Mizya. The one towards Mizya swings the sword a little early, getting only a 10. The one coming towards you, Vorn, that's a the one coming towards you is a 14. What's your AC?
My AC 14 exactly.
So he is going to hit you with a scimitar. So you're gonna catch 2 points of slashing damage as he just basically just shing across your arm. That's that group. That's going to bring us back to the top of the
Hold
order.
on. 6 damage you can use reaction.
Wow.
Wow.
And
A lot going on. Holy
Yep.
shit.
Mizya is going to, the one that you have your back to, that you just sort of dared, Vorn.
Yeah.
Mizya is going to fire magic missile into him. For 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 points. So behind you, you just hear this sort of arcane whistling sound. You're used to this sound. You've seen Mizya cast a spell before, as they release these that look like these purple quills. And behind you, Vorn, you hear dum dum dum, and you feel the bandit kind of lean against you for a moment, and then slump to the ground.
Yeah.
So Mizya's taken that one out. And I think you would hear from Mizya as this happens. You just hear this through gritted teeth. Yes, yes.
Oh my god. Awesome.
Which then, as that happens and the body slumps to the ground, we flip over to Assyria at the graves in the cemetery in the necropolis in the Shadowfell. And you see what's happening with Teera. And...
Yeah. Seeing all of that, she's gonna quickly say, well, it's good to see you. Looks like they have the welcoming party. And she'll quickly
Teera laughs and then that's when she gets the freaking sword right in her side. Yep.
Quickly puts the bow and arrow back, and she's gonna take out her father's sword. And her and Soren are gonna go attack these guys.
All
Going
right.
at it.
So you got 3 skellies and 1 zombie.
I'm good. I'm gonna go for the skelly that has the arrow.
Okay. Yep, the one you shot already.
Yep, and Soren is gonna go for the zombie that just hit Teera.
Okay.
Or almost tried to hit Teera. For me, that's going to be...
I just picture as you charge across, there's this shot of like this camera moving rapidly, and in the foreground we see a couple of tombstones pass by, and perched on one of them is just this disembodied hand just sort of
Yes.
as you come charging by to attack, and then Soren is
so freaking cool. So cool.
So I got a 19 and Soren got a 17 to hit.
those are both hits.
Sweet.
Nice.
Okay. So you dice. I keep choosing. I'm like, you. Okay. That's good. That's good. Okay. 17 points of damage. I'm sorry. Hang on. Yeah, 17 points of damage from me, and from Soren. That's going to be... Sorry, I'm reading. It's been a minute since we've done this.
You good?
Okay. Okay. That is going to be 7 points of damage. And I need the zombie to make a strength savings throw, or else it'll be knocked prone by Soren.
So 7 points of damage. First, I got to see if it's still alive.
I mean, as alive as it was before.
Well, that's a natural 1 on its undead fortitude. So,
Good. Nice.
so sticking with that cinematic shot I described, where the camera's rapidly following, as you and Soren reach the targets, you and Soren stop moving, but the camera follows as the skeleton's bones shatter and keep moving forward.
Oh, cool.
And Soren leaps and rips the top half of the zombie away from where Teera already perforated it with the sword. So the camera sort of follows these bodies as they and skitter across the ground. As you take out both the skelly and the zombie.
Sweet.
Nice.
And then she'll just kind of take a ready stance to help out Teera, knowing Teera is perfectly capable of handling it, but ready to help out should she need anything. But that's it for me.
As the zombie body hits the ground again, we flip over into the chalet where the bandit whose arm you broke, Vorn, and is standing in front of you. He just looks at you and he doesn't know what to say, and he just says, "You broke my bloody hand!"
Huh.
And he starts fumbling to grab at his scimitar. He's going to attack with disadvantage because of a broken hand. One of those was a nat 20. With disadvantage, he gets a 15, which I believe hits your AC.
Yeah.
These guys are nickel and diming you with their... Yeah. You take 3 points of slashing.
Oh, man.
As
As by
he
1,000 cuts.
doesn't put a full strength cut into it, but he does sort of cut across you with that. Just then, the two women sort of scrabble over the fence around the cemetery, and they are both charging at Mizya. And the one that's a 5 from the one, so she comes charging in and misses Mizya, swinging her scimitar, and Mizya just sort of, oh no, ducks out of the way. The second one comes in with her scimitar, and I gotta check Mizya's AC is a 13. So yeah, they come charging in and just dodges out of the way. Whoa, oh no, and moves forward just in time to catch the edge of the second woman's blade, dealing 6 points of slashing damage to Mizya as you hear from Mizya, who takes damage for the first time. Let's see, that's them. Vorn.
Yes.
You are up.
How far am I away from Mizya?
I'd say Mizya is probably within 10 feet of you.
Oh, perfect. All right. My first move is I'm going to. I hear Mizya scream out in pain from being slashed, and I'm assuming she's behind me, correct?
Yes, they are behind you about 10 feet.
So I do a back roll. You know how like we were kids used to roll on your back.
You are engaged with the one that's got the broken hand. If you move away from him, you will provoke an opportunity attack.
I provoke the attack and
Okay.
move away from him and move towards Mizya. I hear her scream.
He completely misses you
Mhm.
with an 11 as you move away, and he's like, wait! And takes a clumsy swing at you and misses. You tumble away towards Mizya.
Mm-hmm. And I stand. I envision I stand next to Mizya, and my chain with the book. I kind of like wrap the
Ooh.
chain around my fist and my wrist, kind of, and I have like the chain strung out with the book on the other side of the heavy chain. I'm just kind of like swooping it around. Who is the person that's closest to attack?
Both women are right there
Oh,
within range.
yeah,
They
we're
were
doing,
both engaged.
Mess 'em
Crouching
up,
Tiger, Hidden Dragon, when you just kind of
Yes.
swoop in, try to hit everyone with the whirling wind. And let's see, do I have any inspiration? I think I do.
You've got 33 points of domain tomes.
Yeah.
If you want to get
let's-
advantage, you can call it now,
Yeah.
and we only
Yeah,
call
let's
it's,
do
one.
it's
advantage on
one
that.
tome to gain advantage.
All right, one tome for an advantage. We'll do
Okay.
that. I'm going to try to hit both of them with this attack.
You can only target one
Okay.
unless you use your... Well, you don't have action surge yet. I will say this. Roll the attack.
Okay, let's
Just
see how we do.
Roll with advantage.
So 10, 13, 20.
30, 20. Okay,
It does
yeah.
20.
So you're only going to be able to hit the one.
Well, we can do crowd control, right? Like the other one can kind of back off from it.
Well, I mean, you just slammed her upside the head with a sharp-edged book on a chain. Roll that damage.
That'll do
And
her.
Can the chain book wrap around her neck too? Can we do that, Jake? Please.
Well, let's roll the damage and let's see what happens.
9 points of damage.
Yeah, that's gonna wrap around her neck, and the sharp edges. So this book has like these metal edges
Mhm.
that make it be this dangerous weapon, and it swings around and just swings past the second bandit woman, comes back around her neck, and you just see as it goes thump, into the side of her head, and she slumps.
Like Kill Bill. Hell yeah.
You have killed Elfhild.
Awesome.
Yep. And as she falls down to the ground, that like little puff of dirt hits the ground, I'm pulling the chain back slowly, and through orc tusk and teeth, I'm like, "Who's next?" As I'm pulling the chain back towards me. That's my turn.
And with that,
Wow.
the camera swings around, staying in the cemetery area. Gary,
How many enemies remain in the cemetery?
there are still 4 enemies that are up. Broken Hand Dude, one woman, and 2 other guys.
So from the second floor, the darkness of the cemetery is pierced once again by the iron tip of a crossbow bolt as it flies through the air toward one of the men. AC 28
That's a hit.
for 15 points of damage.
Wow.
How do you kill that one?
Oh my God.
How'd you go Super Saiyan? My God.
The iron tip of the crossbow bolt goes straight through his eye and settles there for a moment before he falls backward, the other eye looking to the sky, wondering from where did that crossbow bolt come? Because he didn't see its shooter. Once again, the silence of the second floor is breached by the twang of a crossbow string. I'm assuming 20 will hit.
Yes.
The thwang pierces the silence of the second floor and does 8 damage to the remaining men.
Where does it strike him? It doesn't kill him.
Would probably strike him in the throat.
Okay. So yeah. So that second one, all of a sudden, there's one of the bandits falls to the ground, an arrow in his head, and the other one just suddenly you hear from across where the graves are, Vorn, you and Mizya hear just grabbing at his throat where this crossbow bolt is there, and he's just scrabbling at the wet mess that was his throat a moment ago. Anything else?
No.
No.
Let's see. So that then moves us to...
I am terrified.
With that, just get my numbers right here.
This is oh boy.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, he's going to use his turn to die. As he's just standing there, and he's almost looking towards you, Vorn and Mizya, like looking for help, like and you just see the color leaching out, and he falls just short of falling into one of the open graves. So yeah, he dies as his action. And as he falls next to this open grave, and the camera seems to rise up out of one of the open graves, where we see that there is there's still 2 skeletons in play against Teera and Assyria. And the one skeleton, the camera stays low to the ground, kind of moving towards you as the skeleton comes in, running, dragging a scimitar on the ground, sparking. Even the sparks have their light muted and dulled in this black and white landscape. And the skeleton just opens its jaw. It kind of comes unhinged. And he is going to even Assyria, odd Teera. He's going for Teera. As he swings that for a 10.
Oh God, Jesus Christ! No, that doesn't hit me.
So he comes in, and I imagine he brings the blade down on your newly freed greatsword. As the zombie was separated, your greatsword comes across, and there's just this ringing metallic clang. And then the other skeleton comes in, and this one is actually going for Soren.
Don't you hurt my baby boy.
5, 6.
Yes.
The skeleton comes running in, and Soren is just too quick for him. But Teera, you're engaged with a skeleton. It's your turn.
I want to hit the skeleton that's closest to me, please.
Go for it.
I'm not rolling that one. I'm gonna roll this one. That's not a lot better. God, jeez, that is an 8 to hit him.
You bring your greatsword around, and the skeleton suddenly turns its short sword like this and puts its hand flat against it. and you hit the sword, clang, so hard the skeleton goes back just a little bit, but blocks your shot.
And then can I oh geez, this is all very unfamiliar. As a free action, can I just sort of make a perception check to get like a lay of the land? Or no? Or am I too in?
You said you have a 13 passive?
Yeah.
I will say that you kind of pick up on the same vibe that all color seems to be leached from this place.
Okay.
It's very large. You see for easily 150 feet in any direction. This is just a necropolis. It's open graves and gravestones and tombstones and monoliths with this sort of off center, but a little ways away from you, this large mausoleum with the gargoyles atop it. But with that passive perception, as you're looking around, you kind of look over your shoulder where you're sort of clashing swords with the skeleton. And you see from where you came out of the graves into this world, you see a hand reach up. And you see the pale face of Cain Maugrim clambering out. And that's where we're going to take our break.
Wow. Oh, oh gosh. Oh, wow.
All right.
Start
Well,
at the top of the order.
there's
Wow.
there's been a little bit of there's been a lot that's happened tonight. We're going to take about a 10-minute break, and then we will be back for the last section, roughly an hour or so, to finish up this session. Thank you everybody who has tuned in so far. Thank you for all of the bits and the subs. We greatly appreciate that. Keep that stuff coming, and stick around because we've got more D&D for you on the other side of this break. We'll see you in about 10 minutes. And we're back. Assyria and Teera, you see this figure who you only glimpsed for a moment, Teera, before you disappeared through the Shadowfell. I'm sorry, hold on. What the hell did you just do? Because it looked like you just summoned that sword to your hand.
She said it.
I just had it. It was on the floor, and I
she's just
tossed it up
had
to
it.
myself.
I just saw your sword come flying in from the side of the screen into your hand.
No, you didn't. You didn't see
No.
anything.
Yeah, somebody clip that because I need to. I
Don't.
glanced up. I'm like,
No.
wait, what?
Nope.
Teera's
I
over
saw
here.
it.
Teera's
There are
over here
things you can't know.
just taking a level into Eldritch Knight.
We're
Jeez.
getting a visit from an agency now, Jake, and it's not going to be pleasant.
Yep. Hexblade.
Wait, what?
Here we go.
I hear somebody knocking at my door. Okay, anyway. So Teera, you only caught a glimpse of this man right before you slipped into this shadow crossing. But Assyria, you've seen this man before.
Mhm.
He sort of climbs up out of this grave, and you see him sort of start to pull up, and he kind of staggers back, and you can see the 4 crossbow bolts peppered across his chest. He spits out a gout of blood. It doesn't look to be much better here.
Oh my god.
Please. I just need to talk to you.
Uh-huh.
And let's see. So that's his turn. He's not going to take any other action.
Oh.
Which then, let's see, that brings to... Nope, they're dead. The one woman is still alive on the other side. So as he says this, we sort of back to the chalet as the woman near Mizya. I'm actually going to, because right next to her, Vorn just wrapped a book flail around her companion's neck and embedded a book in her head. I am making a wisdom save or wisdom check for her.
If I had a nickel, am I right?
Right.
Brand new sentence.
That is a 4. So this woman is going to drop her scimitar and she's going to take off running.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, she drops her scimitar and kind of takes a couple steps back. Mizya hasn't really done much in the way ever of melee attacks. So, yeah, this woman starts to back away. Let's just see. Whoops. As she backs away and starts to turn but doesn't fully turn, there's a flash of silver, not silver, but a flash of silver light from the iron dagger that Mizya pulls from inside their sleeve. I rolled a 19 on the die for a 24 to hit.
Gonna take her first life today. Her first life today, bro.
Mizya just marks this woman with a single, a pretty deep slash, but just right across her face as she pulls away. And then the woman takes off running. She doesn't kill her. They don't kill her. She's not dead, but she takes off running into the night.
Wow.
So that was her. So, hold on. I got so many numbers on this page. Back in the Shadowfell, there's still a skeleton and a zombie.
Nice.
The one skeleton... the zombie's dead. There's 2 skeletons. The one skeleton is going to shoot an arrow again at Soren. I don't think that's going to hit. What's Soren's AC?
15.
You said that 15, but what 15. I heard was, and it better not hit.
Pretty much.
That's an 11.
Nope.
Nice.
And then the other skeleton that you're clashing swords with, Teera, is
15.
Going to sort of push a little bit and then pull the sword and try to slash across at you, Teera. Stay in the tray. An 11. Clang up against your sword again. Failing to do anything to you. And Teera, it is your turn.
Right. I guess I want to just I want to try to attack the one that I'm engaged with. There we go. That's a 24 to hit.
Nice.
Yep, that is a hit.
And that is 9 points of damage.
You bring the sword around, and this time it can't block it. You just sort of push the sword aside, and as you drive it down, it hits into the shoulder area, and you hear bones cracking, and you chip bones away. You haven't fully killed it yet.
Wow.
Damn.
But it's hurting.
Must have drank its milk.
Got milk.
It does a body good.
Anything else, Teera?
No. No.
That is going to take us back out into the at the chalet, where the only combatant still standing has a broken hand. He's a stubborn bastard. he rolled a 16 on his wisdom to stick around. Oops, wrong stat block. Yeah, he rolled a 16 to stick around. He is thinking, Vorn, that you are preoccupied, having killed the other bandit. He is coming for you. And he is going to hit you with a 21. And he comes running up and slashes at you for 4 points of slashing damage. And as he does so, he slices across to you. And when you fail to die, he just kind of looks at where you're wounded at these like 3 or 4 slashes you've taken. And then he just looks up into your face. And you see real fear in his eyes.
Damn right he does.
But Mizya just might end up taking care of him. As you hear the very familiar ringing of a bell. As Mizya tolls the dead. He needs to make a wisdom saving throw. Right. That is a 4 on the die. He takes 1d12 of damage. That is so many D&D Beyond things are open right now. 1d12 of necrotic damage as this bell rings out, and you see this man looking up at you, Vorn. And then you see his head just start to shake as this ringing just goes, and you see blood start spilling from his ears and his nose, and he just, and he collapses to the ground, dead.
God. Mizya.
As Mizya finishes off Vidar.
Damn.
Which would then bring us back to as this man falls dead, we flip back around to Assyria. There are still 2 skeletons. One that's very much trying to kill Soren.
All right. The one that I had Hunter's Mark that turned into dust, I'm going to move my Hunter's Mark to the one that is now on Soren.
Okay.
And I was able to hear Kane, correct?
Oh yeah, he was talking right at you guys.
Perfect. So I imagine this is happening as she is going to hit. What on earth could you possibly want to talk about? You should have stayed on the ground as she's going to try and hit
Teera's looking nervously back and forth at these 2.
skeleton. Mom, Dad, don't fight. Okay. That is going to be a 19 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the skeleton, right?
Yep. Skelly.
Indeed.
That is going to be 16 points of damage as she basically is thrusting forward, trying to just knock the skeleton out of the way of Soren.
Wow.
This skeleton appears to have suffered from osteoporosis. You thrust your sword in and you managed to miss all of the ribs, everything, but you hit the spine and you shatter one of the vertebrae, and it's like toppling a Jenga tower. As soon as you hit it, the skeleton just goes, and you just hear that sound like bone, just rattling of bones as it just collapses into a heap at the ground.
Soren is going to go for the last skeleton that is still standing.
Right.
And he is going to make an attack. Come on, boy. Nope. That's a nat 1.
Oh.
which nat ones open you up to an opportunity attack.
Yep.
So this is this. All right, so you said that one. Nope, he's got his sword out. So yeah, as Soren goes for him, he's gonna sidestep and bring his sword down at Soren for a natural 3, and he's gonna miss.
Okay.
That was an asshole
Don't
thing to say.
scare me. I was like, oh God, he only has so many hit points. Why would you do this
My
to me?
stomach went like, "Ugh."
Ah!
All right.
That's it for me.
We as this skeleton, Soren comes charging, misses the skeleton, dodges to the side, brings its sword down, and Soren kind of swings his rear end around, skittering across the ground. The sword slams into the ground, kicking up gravel, and we flip back to the other side.
Oof.
Where the woman that you have tangled up in your flail, Vorn, is very clearly dead, and everybody that you are dealing with is either dead, or there's the one woman who's managed to make it about 60 feet away as she's sprinting off into the distance.
Yeah. So what Vorn does is he unravels his flail book from the dead woman's neck and kind of puts it back like on his side, if you will. It kind of carries it like across like a chain hook, and then he runs towards the grave that everyone hopped into to transverse, and just kind of does one of the running and then hops in at like a side angle, so like he's falling into the grave.
Okay. So you just kind of step to the side and just take the nesty plunge into an open grave.
But in a cool way.
Right.
Very important note here.
I mean, what's more cool than the nesty plunge?
Yeah.
That's like I think a 90s commercial. So
Yeah.
I don't know how many
Yeah.
people get that reference.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means all you're doing is movement.
Yeah, and I'm gonna shout like you all coming? And I just kind of jump into the grave.
Okay. So it takes a full turn for the transition as you fall in and I imagine just as you're sort of falling in, you just see Mizya place their dagger back in their sleeve as they look at you and just kind of go, yes, yes. And they seem to be looking around.
And can I add, as the as I fall into this grave and as the darkness takes me, I do feel this, the way you feel when you walk into a basement when the power's out in a thunderstorm. That feeling you get, whereas like something is in this presence of darkness with you as I'm kind of crossing over this moment.
Also, as you get that feeling, Vorn, you hear all these whispers, but then you hear a voice that emerges through the whispers. Why did you reject me? Yeah. And then we transition to
Ooh.
we flip back into the Shadowfell, where as you're taking out these, dealing with these skeletons and whatnot, the last of them that are there, there is a Assyria. You see where Soren attacked this skeleton and then almost got attacked as he missed, and the skeleton missed. All of a sudden you hear and you see Kane standing there leaning to the side. His hand is outstretched as you watch in slow motion as a hand axe heading right towards Soren, and then shatters the skeleton that was attacking Soren
Wow.
as he rolled a 22 to hit.
Oh, shit. What the fuck?
And then you see Kane sort of slump, so he's sitting on the edge of the grave, kind of trying to hold himself up, and he just goes, no need to thank me. We flip back to
So
the other
confusing.
side.
Oh.
All that's left is Mizya standing there. What's going on in the, what happens in the upstairs window?
The last 12 seconds have been frenetic with 6 crossbow bolts piercing the darkness. And then there's another sound as a window closes.
Oh my God. Another freaking quick change.
Mizya-
Broadway.
Mizya kind of turns and looks towards the house and sees nothing. Looks around at all of the dead bodies around them. Well, I'm certainly not cleaning this mess up. And steps into one of the open graves.
Oh
as
my God, dude.
We flip back around to the Shadowfell, where for the moment all of the skeletons and zombies are gone. The only non-member of your party, well, Vorn is sort of, you see the activity happening in the other graves, that somebody's, it seems like some shadow is coalescing. Kane has just said no need to thank me to you, Teera and Assyria. It would be your turn at this moment, Assyria.
I think she's going to take a defensive stance in front of Soren. Even she can see how wrecked he is, but she's very confused. I'm very confused about what's going on. So she's just going to take a defensive stance and kind of, there's a mixture of a glare and a little bit of gratitude for that throw. How are you alive? The last time I saw you, I drove a sword through your heart.
You don't need to remind me of that. And he sort of, well, I'd show you the scar, but it looks like I've got almost a full set now. As he looks down at the 4 crossbow bolts still kind of sticking out of him. Yeah. I was right pissed at you for a while for that.
Huh.
But it's been a couple of years since that happened. Bygones, right?
Last time we met, you wanted to kill Soren and take me as prisoner. So what caused the change
Wrong.
in heart? What?
I never wanted to kill that wolf. I wanted your wolf. I didn't want to kill him. I wasn't gonna kill you either. Look, I was just doing my job. I was paid to get the wolf. You was a bonus. But as I said, that was a couple of years ago.
hear to Teera like that leather creaky sound, like as her grip kind of tightens on her sword, and she's looking at Assyria and then back at this guy.
I'm confused. When we spoke, yes, you mentioned doing a job, but sounded like you just wanted Soren as a trophy.
There was a time when it would have been a hunter's pride to be able to mount a trophy like that. Now, it was a bounty. I was hired to find that wolf specifically. Can't tell so much in this place, but I'd recognize that wolf anywhere. It's in the eyes. I'm happy to keep talking with you. Well, if I don't do something about these soon, I'm not going to be able to answer much more questions. And he is going to take one of the bolts and he's going to yank it out. I am going to roll a medicine check for him.
Does Ricky materialize at any point?
Yeah,
during this?
I think right around this point, Vorn and Mizya would sort of have that you would have that feeling like you are drowning for a moment, and then it's like coming to as you break the surface and shadow just sort of spills around you. Teera, make me a perception check while I roll this medicine check, Kane.
Perception's a 19.
Fortunately, Kane rolled a 21 on his medicine, so he pulled the bolt out just right. I'm sorry, you got what for your perception?
19.
You notice as Mizya and Vorn sort of appear in the grave and sit upright, you notice that for a moment the shadows seem to cling to Vorn. Like you see the shadow sort of spill away like a mist, almost like water rolling off of Mizya. The shadow acts more like snow, if that makes sense, sort of lingering for a moment and
stays.
sort of almost sloughing off as if reluctantly. Everywhere it falls, it seems to cling and drip away from Vorn for a moment. Vorn, you appear in this place and you see Teera and Assyria standing about maybe 10, 12 feet away from these graves. You see half a zombie and shattered remnants of skeletons. And you see this mysterious man pulling a crossbow bolt as he sits on the edge of a grave next to you.
I'm going to roll a wisdom check, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Just to get my bearings around me and to see how I respond. So 10. As I come into this world, I'm shouting, "You've taken everything!" And looking around, kind of like when you wake up in the middle of the night and you don't know what room you're in, but it's your bedroom, kind of thing, you know?
And I'm saying like, calm, brother, calm. And like, as he's kind of having this panic, and I'm not taking my eyes off of Kane though.
And yeah, I'm looking around. The air smells funny. Everything feels weird, but like,
Vorn, I would say for you, as somebody who has poor eyesight and relies on your goggles, it's probably a little extra disorienting because there's an almost complete lack of color in this place. In fact, I would say the only thing that stands out is anybody that's bleeding, the blood seems somehow brighter in this place.
The red like
Yeah.
jumps out.
Yeah, the red really stands out in stark contrast to everything else.
Yeah. In like a panic, I kind of shriek and I'm like, Teera, Assyria.
And
It
once
kinda, like-
more in Orcish, I just say calm, calm.
And
And yeah.
I reach for the hilt of my axe and I'm kind of gripping it, and as I unsheath it and kind of pull it off my back and holding it with both hands, just trying to get my bearings around me for my turn. And I see Teera saying calm. I see Assyria, one of the people that we were just fighting, right?
He's kind of slumped against the mausoleum for the moment.
Yeah.
He's sitting in the grave, like both feet are in the grave. He's sitting on the edge of it. And just kind of, weakly as he, at this point, if you don't directly attack him, you're basically out of combat. We don't need to move in turn order.
Yeah.
And he, all right.
I take a few deep breaths and I look around and Mizya has crossed over too, right?
Yep. I think at this point you see.
What's Mizzy doing?
Mizya.
Yes.
That's what I was setting up for.
You see Mizya.
I'm trying to be more indirect about it.
Sorry.
You see Mizya sort of just sit up, look around, and kind of see everything that's happening, and kind of takes note that Vorn and Teera in particular aren't attacking this man. And you see them just sort of make a gesture with their quill, but nothing seems to happen. And then they hold out their hand and say, "Help me up, Barnaby." And you see as an invisible force sort of helps Mizya pull up out of the grave.
Awesome.
And then they just look at all of you and say, "Wow, this should be interesting."
Right.
As Kane is going to pull another crossbow bolt out. This time when he pulls it out, you see him go, "Oh," and you see his eyes kind of flutter a little bit.
Ooh.
Oh, right. Okay. That's the problem. And you actually would notice, I think all of you would see, as he grabs it and goes to pull it, he goes, "Ah!" And you hear this sort of,
Ooh.
and he holds his hand back. Fucking silver. Right. I suppose it might be asking a bit much to ask for a bit of help here.
Yeah, it would be a bit much. Why'd you try to kill her, and what do you want to talk to her about? Talk quick.
At what point did I try to kill anyone?
Well, you must have done something to her for her to have tried to kill you.
What happened in that forest was between her and me. And I would point out, when I was looking for you, you shot me. Anything after that was self-defense.
Sure.
Of the two of us, I didn't stand over you and kill you by driving a sword through your heart while you lay on the ground unconscious. Ask her about that. Did she tell you about that?
How about the axe you threw at me?
Again? Did it hit you?
No.
It was
It
a
almost
warning.
did.
If I want, you saw what I just did with that axe. If I wanted to hit you, I'd have hit you.
I kind of look concerned at Assyria. I'm not sure who I believe.
You're talking in circles. Explain yourself.
I don't even know where to begin.
Huh.
You, all of you. Oh, except you. And he kind of looks at you, Vorn. Don't really know what your place is in this. I don't know who the fuck you are.
Huh?
But you, I was hired back about 4 years ago. Looking for your wolf. And I had heard about what happened to you and your family. I didn't think you'd survived. I thought you was dead. So when I ran into you with the wolf, it was just a bonus. It was just after a payday. What I told you was true. I was a hunter. I knew your father. I used to hunt with him. But granted, I might not have. Well, let's just say the best parts of Melchior's personality and his lessons didn't rub off on me. As you can tell. Right, let's see, this looks normal. And he grabs another crossbow bolt. Kind of, you know how you do that thing when you think the stove's hot and you kind of,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
he kind of does this and nothing happens. He's going to grab that one and, okay, that's a 15. He grabs it and he kind of gives it a twist and, all right, that's 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
These 2 are silver. I didn't catch your name, love, but she's not going to be able to touch these either. Think you could give me a hand?
How do you know that?
As I said, I know a lot.
I look over my shoulder at Assyria. I'm like,
She'll
"Will you
nod.
leave?"
She'll nod.
And I go over to him and I have a +1 medicine, but I don't know what Vorn would have or what Mizya has. I guess I would try to at least like fix the one that's like really messed up.
As you start to reach for it, he goes, before you go grabbing that shaft, I'd like to know your name.
You can't just say that, Jake. You know better.
No.
Well, I need dinner first. Jeez.
There isn't even a goblin or a V here. Listen,
Nobody-
come on.
Nobody clip that.
Yo, can I use that? Can I use that? Can I take that line?
That is
Know your name.
wow.
Well, of course you would.
Please clip that. and
Rewind,
send to me.
rewind.
Please send to me.
As he says,
Yes.
hold up.
Forever.
And as you're sort of leaning down there,
Yeah.
Teera, he just goes, hold up. Before you just grab hold of that bolt and
Yo,
pull it out.
okay.
I was dancing around a few words there.
That's better. That's
Like-
better.
Who the hell are you?
They call me
Of-
Teera the Sun Maned. I'm with her and him and them.
I kind of like the first version.
I did
Make-
clip it.
Fuck off, Ricky.
Make a perception or insight check for me real quick.
Okay. Perception or insight.
Yeah.
10.
All right, hold on. I have to make a roll here. Ooh, that's not good. Okay. All right, so you said you have +1 to medicine.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and roll a medicine check.
Ooh, 19.
Okay. You grab hold of the arrow and this bolt, and you just you pull it out, and he just kind of grits his teeth, but
Mm-hmm.
not exactly the kind of compromising position I like to find myself in.
I'm just not talking to him. Tira's just focused on like kind of getting some sort of dressing packed into the wound and like very like robotic about this almost.
Still one more.
I take the other one out too, or I try. Another medicine check, I assume.
Yep.
Okay. That one's only a 12.
The DC was 12. So you pull it out and he just goes.
Oh, settle down now, you big baby. Hold still.
As you're sort of just mechanically packing the wounds. You're a natural. Perfect bedside manner.
It ain't my first time. And I like am just continuing to like do this work.
Did you say your name was Teera?
Teera the Sun Maned.
Dragon Slayer.
Stop it.
He kind of, as you say that, the sun maned, and I just sort of picture you're sort of, you know, packing his wounds in, and you kind of glance up as he says that, as you say that, and he sort of just kind of reaches towards your hair like he's gonna just kind of like the sun maned.
I whack his hand away.
As you whack his hand, he just goes, "Whoa, hey." Just didn't know where that came from.
It came from where you thought it came from. And I smack him twice on the cheek. And then I just sort of stand up and like take my place again over by Asaria. Like, you'll live.
Yeah,
You're
well.
welcome.
All right. I owe you an explanation.
Yes.
And I guess I'm sort of in your debt. Well, I'm in her debt. I'm probably in your debt too for not killing me.
Yet.
Trying, and again, I might add. But it's an interesting location you've chosen to come to. Any particular reason we're in the Shadowfell?
You don't really get to ask those questions right now. My business is my own.
Here's the
You
thing.
can understand my point of view in this, correct?
I can understand your point of view. But what I find curious is how it is you end up in the very place that the person that hired me to find and capture your wolf. This is where she's from.
She.
She.
Who's she?
She is a very powerful person who does not like to be let down. She is from the Shadowfell. So that's why I find it curious that we are in the Shadowfell now. Are you sure you're not just playing into her hands?
Well, frankly, I don't really know who she is. So it's kind of hard to answer that question, even if I wanted to.
She, as I said, is a very, very powerful and dangerous elf. She's what's called the Shadowkai. They are elves from the Shadowfell. They are servants, the Raven Queen.
What would she want with Soren?
Mine is not to question the why. To simply do the job I was hired to do. But I'll tell you this. After you killed me the first time, well, thought you killed me the first time, and he sort of pulls part of his shirt away And you see that same mark that you saw. And the rest of you would see him show this mark. And Assyria has shown you her mark. You and I. Guess you could say we're family, eh? Well, not literally. We're not like blood related.
Family goes beyond blood. I think you and I both know that.
Well, and then again, maybe we are blood related. If you wear that mark, and I wear that mark. What about you, big man? Kind of looks over at you, Vorn. I know that's not a sire's mark. That's the Orcus mark of shame.
You don't just get to ask why
Yeah,
someone
you
has an
don't really
orcish
get
mark
to-
of shame.
You don't get to ask those
You-
questions.
I didn't ask a question. I pointed out the fact that
You
his
don't
tribe
get
has
to do
marked
that.
him as a shameful person. I was asking if he had the same mark. What about you, girl? Sorry, Teera the Sun-Maned.
Hold on. Yeah, it's a mark of shame. What of it?
I was simply showing you that I knew what it was.
Well, you took about 1 step forward and about 8 steps back.
We all have our marks there.
Yeah, you left this, and she'll pull her collar aside to where there's the giant scar from where he ripped into her.
You know what's interesting about that?
Yeah, what's interesting about that?
That you still bear a scar from that.
Why wouldn't I?
Well,
Hmm.
I'd like to demonstrate something for you.
How about you tell me what you're going to do before you do it?
I'm not going to do it. I'm not stupid. She's going to cut my head off with that sword
Exactly.
if I
Yes.
take any step closer to you. Have you noticed, since the full moon, have you noticed anything different? And don't dance around it, because I know you turned into a wolf.
How does everybody keep finding out this?
It was very conspicuous. You ate a lot of things. There was a lot of blood. Don't worry
Okay,
about it.
listen, we're not talking about this right now.
It's fine. No, okay.
Hold on. Wolf? Okay.
Yeah, you remember. It happened.
Yeah.
And Cereal
You
will
know I
take
can
a
hear
s-
you, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
know.
shut up.
The polite thing is to ignore it. And Assyria will take a second. DM, have I has Assyria noticed or have like any idea what he could be alluding to?
I would say no.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say I there's nothing that's like standing
You
out.
have not, both in terms of what you've noticed about yourself since you're changed during the full moon, but also mechanically.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that you were a full blown wolf, you haven't noticed anything. He's giving you, seeming to be giving you information
Got it.
that you didn't know.
Got it. Well, otherwise from being tired, no.
All right. Here's the deal. Because I have a feeling the four of you, and I don't know what happened to that tall fellow that's with you normally, the big quiet one.
Doc.
And I don't like that I don't know where he is. I just want to say that.
Doc is
But-
an assassin.
He's a man of mystery.
Yeah.
Here's what. You all reek of amateurs. Now, I don't mean that as an insult. It's a statement of fact.
Mm-hmm.
You've been on the road for what, 1 or 2 months? Doing whatever it is you're doing. I can't figure out. You go to the library, then you head off doing God knows what.
Stalker much.
What?
How How long you been following us?
Yeah, how long have you been
Look,
following us, following me?
I've been following you for... Well, I've been following you the last couple of years.
All right, that's stalker. You might
That's
need to
not
find
stalker.
a better
That's I told you I was hired to do a job.
Mm.
And you have been doing a very good job staying hidden until recently. Here's the thing. There is a lot more going on than you have any idea. And a few years on the road, having more questions than answers, I found myself not so satisfied just doing the job. I made a mistake in hiring those sellswords. Didn't know how you would react, and one of them got trigger happy and killed that Raven girl. I showed up and I just wanted to talk to you. They were supposed to be there to help protect me. One of you lot shot me 4 times before I had a chance to say anything.
I look around and I look at Vorn and I look at Asteria specifically, and I know neither one of them uses a crossbow. And those were crossbow bolts that I pulled out of him. And for a second, Teera is like, wasn't any of us. You see a crossbow on any of us, eh?
The point is, for the time being, you're on my good side because you pulled the last 2 out. Which, thanks, I guess, for that.
You're welcome.
The point is, we came at night, was when we arrived, and we were a little overzealous when we showed up, so maybe your reaction wasn't totally unjustified.
Well, you did attack, the people that were helping us. So, yeah.
As I said, one of my hirelings shot them. I wouldn't have wanted that. And
that sounds like a you problem, though.
It is. That was my problem. The point is, you already know that you're marked. You bear the same mark I do. You've started your transformation process. You've turned into a wolf. Last full moon, yeah? Next full moon, it's going to be worse. And the full moon after that, it's going to be even worse yet. You don't have a choice in this transformation. Somebody took that choice away from me. It wasn't me, because I had that choice. Son of a... As he pokes his own chest and next to where all these crossbow bolts are. I had that choice taken away from me. And initially, I thought it was a good thing. I mean, I can turn into a fucking bear. But the transformation process itself is brutal. And you seem like a lot nicer person than me. So it seems like you might be a bit tore up at the people you're probably going to kill. Him? Her? Them? I take it you kind of like them, yeah? How you going to feel when the next full moon comes, and then you wake up the next day and you find the broken, bleeding bodies of your friends lying around you? Probably not going to feel too good, are you?
I look at Asteria and I'm just like shaking my head. Like, that won't happen.
You're going to hold her down?
we'll do what we have to make sure that she's okay and that we're okay.
You have all the answers. Why don't you just say it versus dangling?
I
this
don't
truth
have
in
all
front
the
of us?
answers. I've got more questions than I've got answers.
Hmm.
I know about some about the person that hired me. And I know that she wanted your wolf. And I know that
the
your
same
wolf,
person that branded us then? Is that somebody different or are they the same?
I think it's the same person for the same ends. Because your wolf's not the only one. I haven't just been hunting you. If I'd just been hunting you, I probably would have caught you not long after you killed me. I've been hunting others. Successfully, I might add. I had a line on some jackalwares, Baldur's Gate. They up and vanished. There was a criminal ring of were-rats. I thought, nobody's going to miss them. Scum. I get there. They're all dead. Imagine my surprise when I find out you were in Baldur's Gate at the same time. But, like I said, it wasn't just them. But there's something in common with every bounty I've been hired by this elf to track down. Were-rat. Were-jackal. Were-boar. Were-bear. Were-wolf. Were-ravens. Were-tigers. I can't spell it out for you any more than that.
What's a tiger?
It's a big stripy looking cat.
Mm-hmm.
This
We don't
guy.
have them up in the north. They're from the south.
What's the tiger?
Okay.
See, this is what I mean about you having an air of amateurism about you. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're tough. You're a strong lot. You survived this long, but you have no idea what you're getting yourself into.
Well, why don't you tell us?
I literally been telling you.
that's all you know.
Somebody powerful is hunting lycanthropes and has marked us. I'm marked, she's marked.
Great. Anything else?
Yeah. You said you wouldn't let that happen to her. And you can see he's getting irritated.
Yeah.
And he's still hurt. You can see him he's a little pale and he kind of staggers a little bit as he stands up. You think you can hold her during a werewolf transformation. And you think you can protect her.
Hold on.
No, I'm not talking to you, Afork. I'm talking to her.
I'll
You
let you guys handle this.
think you are going to protect... You think she's going to protect you?
We'll
You
find
think she's
a
going
way.
to keep you safe?
We'll find a way.
You say that, you're going to find a way. Just like you found your way to the coast. Just like you found your way all the way to the coast.
All right.
Riding up and down.
Too much fucking talking.
Hey,
And at this point, I bring my sword out. I'm like, if you have an answer for this dilemma, I suggest you fucking spill it in a fucking hurry.
He takes a step forward until your sword is pressed right next to his throat. Go ahead, Teera the Sunmane. Kill your own brother. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
You! How dare you? Oh my god.
Hold up. Before we end fully,
Beast. You're a beast.
as he says that, and it cuts to black, we fade in on all of the dead bodies in the cemetery as we are back at the chalet. What's going on at the chalet?
Oh God.
Doc is sitting in his cart and he's looking around. Where is everybody?
Fuck you, dude.
And that is where we're going to end.
Holy shit.
Jake,
Ah.
son of a bitch.
My chest hurts.
Ah.
Well, this is almost Jake. You're
Jake.
Sorry,
master-
headphone users. I know I yelled. Sorry.
masterclass.
Jake.
Well,
Holy shit.
I gotta tell you, I've lost track of how many levels of deception I was manipulating, both meta in terms of the reveal of the gifts for Gary at the beginning, other reveals, character reveals, some of which I didn't know how this was gonna go. I had all these plans, and some mysterious entity almost killed one of my main characters. But he survived, barely. And then...
Barely. Boo.
Get out.
Boo.
I was trying to slip one past you.
The fuck?
And there were certain elements, and maybe when you go back and rewatch, you can figure out what was going on. That there's a point several minutes ago, real time, where there was recognition from him.
Yeah.
But not
I
from
thought
you.
he was hitting on me.
That's
I
what
thought
I
that was
thought
a
too.
nod to how much I've been saying how hot.
I was
Well,
like, excuse me.
I kind
you
of
don't-
muddied the waters when I misspoke, and
Yeah.
given
But also-
given the reveal and the weight of that, it kind of changes that whole scene somewhat.
That's
So
reasonable.
But the touching of the
Oh.
hair, I was like, listen, you need to ask for permission and consent
Consent.
before touching a lady's hair.
so anyway, what a heck of a way to return in 2022 back to this amazing campaign. It sucks that Dwight couldn't be here with us, but we understand. He had to be away. I want to say just a huge thank you to all these amazing players.
And to you.
I mean,
damn.
You all give me the clay with which to mold and manipulate these stories. We're riffing off of each other. We're telling these stories together. And one of my favorite, I will say this, one of my favorite things as a DM is getting people say, "Oh, the DM never gets to play." Screw you! I'm playing. I played like 15 characters tonight.
Yeah.
But getting to role play 1-on-1 or 1-on-4 in this case, and having a scene like that, and whether even if it's not revealing something, but being able to have this tension of a former enemy and revealing things that are happening. I love this kind of stuff. I live for it. This is what I love about D&D and telling these stories. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to I want to see if I can get this to, it won't pop up. 1 second. I want to say a huge thank you to Crucian Gal, who was basically was the one who organized the surprise for you, Gary. And then the co-conspirators in Allie, Petra, D20, Hawkmere, Anthony, Jay, myself. We were all involved to some degree to pull this off, and it's because we love you. And so thank you to everybody, and to all of you for allowing us to because none of these players knew that was going to happen either, that surprise.
That was so cool. That was so cool. What a great way to start the night.
And thank you to all of our amazing audience, for everybody who cheered and contributed bits and all that kind of stuff. I'll have to go back and review to make sure I didn't miss anything that went towards your domain tomes. But yeah, we appreciate all of you so much. And I especially want to say, if you were somebody that was watching the stream or listening in the background, you just like to lurk and not participate in chat, we appreciate you too. All the same, We love that. We're glad you're here. We hope you're enjoying everything that is going on. In just a moment when we end, we're going to raid Josh, I think.
Yeah.
I see that Josh is streaming. So we're going to, if I can get it to show up. Why is it not showing him? I'm trying to raid him. You might have to set the raid up for me.
Okay. I can
Because I can't
She's so
do
smart.
it, apparently.
I got it.
Anyway, thank you.
So smart.
So yeah, we're gonna send a raid over to Josh. But yes, thank you to chat, and as always, thank you to these amazing players, Gary, Cari, Jordan, and Ricky, and even though he's not here, Dwight, without whom this would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. We're gonna go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream. You can say it with me if you want.
Meta.